Obama betrays America yet again by signing the Monsanto Protection Act into law. Thursday, March 28, 2013, by Mike Adams, the Health Ranger. President Barack Obama campaigned on promises to end secret prisons, decriminalize marijuana, balance the budget, honor the Second Amendment and make health care affordable. But what really unfolded was an explosion in the national debt, now $16 trillion and climbing, the signing of the NDAA, a claimed new power to kill any American at any time, even on the United States soil, the use of military drones to murder American children overseas, a full-on assault against the Bill of Rights, a doubling of health insurance rates and the destruction of the United States economy. But that's not all. Now Obama has signed the Monsanto Protection Act into law, stabbing America in the heart yet again, and proving that no matter how convincing politicians appear on the campaign trail, they are still sociopathic liars in the end. The Monsanto Protection Act, part of the H.R. 933 continuing resolution, allows Monsanto to override the United States federal courts on the issue of planting experimental genetically engineered crops all across the country. Even if those experimental crops are found to be extremely dangerous, or to cause a runaway crop plague, the United States government now has no judicial power to stop them from being planted and harvested. As iTimes.com reports, the bill effectively bars federal courts from being able to halt the sale or planting of GMO or GE crops and seeds, no matter what health consequences from the consumption of these products may come to light in the future. GMOs now evade all regulations. America has become a grand Monsanto experiment. A Food Democracy Now! Petition now states, with the Senate passage of the Monsanto Protection Act, biotech lobbyists are one step closer to making sure that their new GMO crops can evade any serious scientific or regulatory review. This dangerous provision, the Monsanto Protection Act, strips judges of their constitutional mandate to protect consumer and farmer rights and the environment, while opening up the floodgates for the planting of new untested genetically engineered crops, endangering farmers, citizens and the environment. Corporate government conspiracy is fascism. This new law forces the USDA to automatically approve all GMO planting permits sought by Monsanto and other biotech firms, effectively granting Monsanto dominion over the United States government. This is the very definition of fascism, a form of tyrannical government, where corporations conspire with the government to destroy or confiscate all rights, powers and assets, leaving the people impoverished and powerless. What's interesting about this development is that now even Democrats are starting to wake up and see how evil Obama really is. As iTimes reports, in this hidden backroom deal, Senator Mikulski turned her back on consumer, environmental and farmer protection in favor of corporate welfare for biotech companies such as Monsanto. Andrew Kimbrough, executive director of the Center for Food Safety, said in a statement, "This abuse of power is not the kind of leadership the public has come to expect from Senator Mikulski or the Democrat majority in the Senate." Of course, for those of us who have been paying attention, and warning everyone else about the dangerous power grab taking place under the Obama regime, this is exactly the kind of behavior we expected to see. The Senate has abandoned law. It has abandoned the Constitution, the rights of the people and even due process. We are now living under a corporate fascist tyranny where companies like Monsanto, General Electric and GlaxoSmithKline control the government and dictate policy. They literally write the laws. This Monsanto Protect Act, says the Center for Food Safety, is an unprecedented attack on the United States judicial review of agency actions and a major violation of the separation of powers. Source: but that's what Obama has always been about. He's the president who seized control of all farms, food and livestock across America. He's the guy who claims the power to decide who to assassinate anywhere in America. His administration has routinely conspired with Monsanto to endanger the American people and turn America's croplands into a grand, dangerous genetics experiment. Pandora's box is unlocked. Obama just propped open the lid, and there's no way to cram the evil back in, wrote the Daily Sheeple. I'm personally pledging at least one article per week about Monsanto, their incestuous relationship with the government, and their toxic grip on agriculture. I urge everyone to raise a deafening public outcry. Every voice adds to the noise that we can create. Who is to blame? Senators Barbara Mikulski and Roy Blunt, among others. The chair of the committee that secretly slipped this provision into the bill was Senator Barbara Mikulski, an absolute traitor to America for allowing the Monsanto Protection Act to become law. She could have stopped it, yet she did nothing to oppose it. She actually helped sneak it into law. Like nearly all the United States senators, Mikulski is now operating as an outright enemy of the people while selling out to corporate interests, who are peddling poison and death. There is hardly a United States senator remaining, who respects his or her oath of office. While Senators Rand Paul and Ted Cruz are showing real courage in the face of federal tyranny and oppression, and Senator Ron Wyden honestly tries to protect the people of Oregon from outrageous federal aggression, most senators are now little more than corporate puppets, who obey the bidding of their masters. Sickeningly, Senator Mikulski recently praised the creation of a Harriet Tubman Memorial, honoring the courage of a woman who stood against tyranny, and defended the people by creating the Underground Railroad. Yet Mikulski herself does the exact opposite, selling out to Monsanto and betraying people of all races by overseeing the passage of what is essentially a judicial nullification power now granted to a dangerous and truly evil corporation. Her actions in this matter were anti-trade, anti-America, anti-human and anti-justice. Harriet Tubman, a true American hero, would absolutely shudder at the thought that a United States senator honoring her memory was simultaneously betraying the people of America by handing over extrajudicial powers to a corporation engaged in widespread genetic pollution and agricultural malfeasance. Harriet Tubman was born a slave and risked her life to lead others to freedom. Senator Mikulski was born a privileged woman, who risked nothing to lead her constituents to corporate slavery. For Mikulski to honor Tubman is an insult to the memory of Tubman and the freedoms she stood for. Missouri Senator Roy Blunt actively conspired with Monsanto to write the provision. Mikulski wasn't the only Monsanto sellout in the United States Senate, of course. Missouri Senator Roy Blunt was also part of the conspiracy to stab America in the heart and poison our food. According to another article on iTimes.com, the provision's language was apparently written in collusion with Monsanto. Lawmakers and companies working together to craft legislation is by no means a rare occurrence in this day and age. But the fact that Senator Roy Blunt, Republican of Missouri, actually worked with Monsanto on a provision that in effect allows them to keep selling seeds, which can then go on to be planted, even if it is found to be harmful to consumers, is stunning. Who opposed the Monsanto Protection Act? Democratic Senator Jon Tester. As the NY Daily News reports, opposing the inclusion of the rider was Senator Jon Tester Demont, who told Politico that the deal worked out with Monsanto was simply bad policy. These provisions are giveaways, pure and simple, and will be a boon worth millions of dollars to a handful of the biggest corporations in this country, Tester said. Tester, of course, has been the voice of reason on several fronts in recent years, including the so-called Food Safety and Modernization Act of 2010, which granted the FDA vast new powers to terrorize gardeners and farmers across America. Senator Tester proposed amendments that attempted to protect the freedoms of American farmers, but his efforts were of course thwarted by the evil corporate conspirators, who now fill the United States Senate chambers. America is lost. What now? Voted into office by people whose hearts were filled with hope for real change, Obama now reveals himself to be a sinister serpent of deception, who betrays the American people at every opportunity. The Obama Deception is the title of the film released by Alex Jones in 2009. At the time, Jones was ridiculed by Obama supporters, who said Obama was their savior and anyone who criticized Obama was a racist. Now, 4 years later, it's obvious that once again Alex Jones was right about Obama. Even Democrats are increasingly realizing this shocking truth, as they watch Obama betray the people of America on issues like GMOs, secret prisons, banker bailouts, due process and marijuana. With deceivers like Obama at the helm, America has been turned over to corporate interests, and the rights and liberties of the people have been eviscerated. That the United States federal government no longer represents the interests of the people. It has become a dominant, dangerous and arrogant machine of oppression and tyranny. It has abandoned law, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. It has violated the very principles upon which this nation was founded and now plays God with our seeds, our food and our future. These are times of such treachery and betrayal, that we cannot even imagine the web of deception being weaved to entrap and destroy truth in America. We the people are being deceived by false media propaganda, and told everything is fine while senators and bureaucrats march us into pits of death, while corporate bulldozers stand by to quickly cover up the mass graves. The United States government is at war with the American people, and that war is being waged with every poison imaginable: genetic pollution, disinfo propaganda, chemical fluoride poisoning, vaccine lobotomies, chemtrails, psychiatric drugs and twisted mental health initiatives. The battleground for this war is your dinner plate, your tap water, your medicine and your core beliefs. The goal of the war is the complete decimation of all cognitive awareness and the abolition of freedom of thought. Give this a few more years, and the mere utterance of any idea critical of the government will be considered an act of terrorism punishable by death. Today I ask, what are you doing to defend truth, liberty and justice against the march of government betrayal? Whatever it is, find a way to do more, or we will lose everything.